Alright, welcome back to the video series. Today I'll be talking about the ceilings and also touch on the air conditioning installation. That was also done, a little bit out of sequence, but it was also finally done. In the last video we talked about raising the gas line, so that's also done. I'll go next slide here. Okay, so here's the project sequence. So generally AC is done usually with the electricians, but we got that done, after the floor was filled and before the ceilings had started. And then we are on the ceilings. The ceilings are done, but not primed. That'll come in painting, but they're finished and ready for priming. And the walls are expected to take a good part of July. They have to be evened up, and it takes some time. You have to put some plaster on there. It has to dry. Put some more plaster. It has to dry it. So a lot of square meters. There's around 170 square meters of wall, so it's more than double the apartment. It's like 2.5 times the apartment floor space. So the walls are kind of like the skin. It's the largest organ in the body, but we don't think about it. But it covers a lot of area and needs a lot of consideration. So you do have to spend your time on ceilings and walls. It does take time. It's a tedious. It's not highly skilled. It's a more monotonous work, but there's a lot of drying steps and then layers that have to be done. And then we'll be moving into painting down the road. Hopefully that gets started, I'm hoping at the end of this month. And then also the flooring and tiles get started hopefully by the end of this month, but I don't know. This project now is looking like it'll complete in like August, maybe August 2020, later part of August 2020, maybe running to September. It's hard to say. It really depends on when you get the contractors and get the people. But this is going to take time, the ceilings and walls. But I hope we can keep it on track. And then, as I said before, we made the interior doors, closets, and trim as part of the installation step instead of the finishing. So that it's better to get this done before you move in. After you do this, then it's better to move in. And then the rest of this you can do as you're living there. It'll be much more comfortable. So this is the AC installation. There's two parts. There's an electrical component that has to go all the way to the breaker box, and then there's the drainage. The moisture condenses on the AC unit, and that there's a little pump that you buy with the AC unit to pump the water into the drainage system in the apartment. That way you don't get those ugly drip lines or, where there's all this calcium building up on the outside of the building or mold. When you see people have air conditioners and the water's dripping, you'd better drain it. It's better off draining it indoors. It's better for the building and better for the environment. So this is also part of the AC line, the drainage. So it comes through from the other room, from the bedroom, because the community has rules on how you can place the air conditioner. So it will be placed somewhere between the small bedroom and the living room, and then that line runs from the small bedroom through the ceiling and then into the living room, and then goes to the kitchen drain line. So that's done. We have the AC infrastructure. I probably won't get the air conditioner until probably November, December when they go on sale. I'm going to most likely miss most of the warm season this year down in Lviv, Ukraine. I don't know when we can start traveling back there without too much regulation. Right now there's like a 14-day quarantine, and if you leave before the 14 days they can fine you. So, and I can't leave Norway until August 20th. I think we're locked down. We can't travel that easily outside Europe until August 20th. I mean, you can, but then there's quarantines and restrictions and lots of questions and hassles, so it's just best to wait. This is what the ceilings looked like before. This was also a better picture of the before of the gas line, how low it was before we worked on the ceiling. So it's just bare concrete slab, very cold and industrial looking. So this is where we're starting from. And then next slide. And then they put in these supports, so I think that was the first thing that they did. That happened pretty quickly. They looked like they measured it out very carefully and put in the system, to the ceiling support system there. So that's quite good. And then the next step, is then they added these bars. So it's a metal frame support system instead of wood in America, and even in Norway. I think they use a lot more wood. And in Ukraine and Germany and places like that, they use the metal. So this will last a lot longer. It's a little bit more costly, but I think it makes for a better ceiling, and it's worth the investment. Like I said, the ceilings and walls and the floor is like your skin. You might have great health and everything, good circulation, the plumbing and electrical, but if the ceilings and walls don't look good, it just will ruin the whole apartment. So this is a step you definitely have to invest in. I mean, there's no step you shouldn't invest in, but ceilings and walls definitely should be one of those investments. There are steps like, you can get a cheaper kitchen and upgrade later. It's not so bad, but like fixing your walls later after you moved in would be a mess. The bathroom, it's important that you have the right placement of the fixtures, and you get the right tiles, and you can always, maybe upgrade the heating rack later, or the sink later, or the washing machine later. So I guess there are some places you can compromise. You can also wait, like the air conditioner. I was probably even going to wait till next year. It depends. I'll see what I can get away with the building, because I have a big tube sticking out from the outside. I don't know. I don't like the way it looks myself. So that's probably something I have to take care of, though. But after the season, when I get a better deal. But yeah, here you can again see the air conditioner line, and then you see the ceilings. They got the lights, and then here there's more of this support system that they have, and then they've also put, like you can see on the side, these rails. I wasn't able to show that before, but yeah, that also supports the ceiling. And then this is after they put the drywall up. This is before they start sealing the joints and covering those nails. This is what it looks like. In the bathroom, you get a green drywall board here, and this is like a waterproof drywall. They call it green board in America, but this is all gypsum, sheetrock, if that's the more commercial term for it. So it's not all that exciting. I mean, it's just like I say, you've probably seen this before. And then here they seal where the nails are and the seams and the joints. So then you have to wait for that to dry. So it's like a little bit by little bit every day. It's not a very fast process. It just takes time, because you got to apply material, let it dry, apply material, let it dry. So I think we have some video here. Yeah, you can see how that looks. So I don't know if you've ever tried doing this yourself. It's quite messy and takes some practice, to get the angle right with the spreader. I tried it a few times. It's not my favorite thing in the world. It's better if you get someone who knows how to do this and has been doing it a while, and they can usually do this quite fast, because they've got the feel for it. But this is a step a lot of people do themselves, because it typically saves a lot of money if you do it yourself, because it is just time, and once you figure it out, it can go quickly. Get through this. And then here's after they've grinded it down, and then done another layer. They put a layer, they sand it down, and they put another layer, sand it down, get it really smooth, and then so there you go. See, they smoothed it out here and evened it up. There's probably might even be a little uneven. There you can see how low the gas line was before. And then now they've smoothed it up, added more layer here, and you can barely see it. And it's ready for primer, paint primer. Get through here. And then, here it's, they've added more layers, and you can see it's just completely smooth. This is in the small bedroom. So it's looking really good. And, we have the lighting. We're going to have these nice LED lights. Very energy efficient. The apartment will have very, very good lighting. I'm really looking forward to that. And maybe that's a step, you can compromise. You invest in having the right wiring, and then you can upgrade lights later, as long as your wires are in the right place. So you spend the money on getting the right wiring, and then maybe you can start with cheaper lights, and then, do an upgrade, some years later. So I'm probably going to do that. I'm probably going to compromise on lighting in the beginning and then slowly add better lighting down the road. Uh, and another thing you want to be aware of is the placement of the door and the ceiling, because this is going to determine how your window treatments work. If the door ran all the way to the top, then you would have to make a special incision here in the ceiling to hang your curtains. Some special work would be done, but in our case, it wouldn't have to. I'll be able to put a curtain rod here, and hang curtains, or do something with the molding, and hide a curtain system, curtain hanging system. So it's just something you want to be aware of, is like how your doors work and how high they go. If they go all the way to the top, or there's a little bit of what we call a cornice. That's another word I learned from the contractor, from Yarina, the general contractor and designer. Um, when she uses Google Translate, I think it gives her a lot of the British English, or proper English. We just say a gap, but this is actually, I think, a cornice. So yeah, that's another word. Um, it's really important that your contractors are using the right tools. I always advocate that they use Hilti tools, because Hilti tools are not only very good and very efficient, but they're quiet. They're built with your neighbor, considering your neighbor. So they have a lot of tools that don't make a whole lot of noise, so you're not disturbing people. We have a very active group on Viber for the complex, and they point you out pretty quick if you're doing something wrong or making too much noise or leaving your garbage in the hallways. So yeah, it's very, very important to ask and check what kind of tools your contractors have. It also shows how successful they are, or how serious they are about the profession, that they've made the investment in the right tools, and then their work will go faster. But I'd say Hilti tools are really a step above, and I'm not getting paid for this. It's just, I've done my research, because I want this project to go as fast as possible and get it done. The apartment's most valuable when it's finished. So when it's not finished, it's you're kind of in a vulnerable state. So the idea is to get finished as quickly as possible, and the right tools will do that. If you're interested in design and build services, or more questions about how to renovate your apartment or anything, just drop me a line. I'd be happy to answer your questions. And hopefully you'll get the walls video probably out in a couple weeks. It's a much longer process than ceilings. Ceilings was like 69 square meters, and the walls are going to be like 170 square meters of wall. So it's like almost 2.5 times more work on the walls than it is on the ceilings. And the walls in the living room have to be evened, so it's going to be a lot more of this layering of plaster and then waiting for it to dry and doing layers to get everything exactly even. They're not perfectly level. And any new build construction apartments and stuff, there's always issues with evenness and levels and things like this, and that has to be sorted out with like layering and plaster, or using mesh, mixed with the plaster to give it some depth in certain areas. But anyway, thank you for your time, and take care.